Welcome everyone. We are kicking off the new start of our Rise Out of 2020 workshop series. I am thrilled to have you here this morning or this evening, wherever you are in the world. If you're on replay, because you guys are here first, if you're on replay, let me know that you're on replay. Say hello, say hi, and just know that I will go through the comments and answer any questions afterwards. So please do feel free to engage in the workshop, even if you are on replay. Okay, so I'm going to get my notes lined up here. I do always make some notes and then often just channel whatever we need to say. So as everyone is coming on this morning, say hello, let me know that you can hear and see me. Trying out a new Facebook system, and I just want to make sure that all the technology is welcome. I do have my comments all up. I am a very interactive teacher. I engage, I answer your questions, talk to you during the workshop. So say hello and let me know who I'm speaking to. I can see people jumping on, so welcome. So this is the start of our Rise Out of 2020 series, and I am really excited and thrilled to have you here. I haven't trained here for a couple months, so I'm excited to be back. So besides teaching a ton of content, because this workshop does have content in it, but it's also experiential. There are pieces in here that I'm going to give you to actually experience and do, particularly our Akashic Field Soul Review on Sunday in Australia, so Saturday in North America. That one is actually a full guided process, so that's probably a really important one if you can make it live, to make it live, because the Akashic Field will be being held. Okay, so besides teaching all the content that I'm going to be teaching, this whole series is really about creating an activation in your energetic system, right? And up-leveling your conscious awareness, right? Because that is what is actually being required of light workers on the planet right now. It's a big up-level. Hey, Lisa, it's good to see you. Oh, excellent. My technology is working. That is good to know. Okay, so I am, across this series, you will notice when I'm speaking, I'm going to be asking you to step into a new level of yourself, because that is who I see you as, right? And I am committed to seeing that next level of who you are, right? Already here now, not in the future, now, okay? Because that is what is really serving right now, is our elevation. We're going to talk a lot about our energetic system and ascension today, what's being asked of light workers, and where we need to, I guess, mature as light workers into new levels. Okay, so you can expect all of that today, along with a ton of content. So most of you in this group are actually already energetic practitioners of some form, right? You're not new to this whole world of energy, and so I'm going to be speaking from that jump point. Now, if you are new to energy and you're here, that's 100% okay. Just ask any questions that you don't understand, but this will just be moving on. And to be honest, I think a lot of people really intuitively get energy, and I am just bringing it into like a level of conscious explanation for some people. Welcome, good morning everyone jumping on. So, master practitioners or people who have energetic tools in your toolkit already, you are being asked now to work at a new level, right? And I think this is really coming through so strongly for people who are actively working with clients or actively using their tools this year. They are noticing massive shifts in the way they are being asked by their higher guidance to work with their modalities that they may have trained in like years ago, right? Because everything is accelerating and everything is moving into new paradigms, and what is possible and available is shifting rapidly, right? So are you really working, this is the question, with your tool set at their full potency, at the full energetic power available at your command? And the answer is possibly, probably not, right? Because where you've been putting your upper limits, where you've deemed yourself as, oh, this is what I can achieve as an energy worker, is all out the window. It's all shifted, right? And limitations are being completely redefined. Now, what a limitation looks like for each person, like where your upper limit is different, right? Honestly, it's a very unique path, individual, and everyone has to do the jumps, right? So for some people, what they believe they can manifest is a limitation. What they believe they can heal is a limitation, right? And they're being asked to redefine those limitations, right? And if you've already done that work and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can always manifest what I want and I can heal, et cetera, then you're actually being asked to go whole next level. And this is what the weavers who are in alumni already are realizing this year, and especially the ones who are on the priestess path, the Shandarian priestess path, right? That they're having to redefine what's possible, big time, right? And it looks different for everyone. So for someone who's just getting started, it's, wow, I can actually legitimately, tangibly feel this energy in my body. I felt it when I did that work. Whoa, that's a shift, right? That's a new level. That's a dissolving of the old limitation of, was there even energy there? I'm going to trust and have faith, but I didn't really know, right? So that's one level, right? And then there's, wow, look at this. Oh my God, I'm actually rapidly manifesting. We call them manifesting rapids in weaving, right? Like whitewater rapids. I'll talk about that today, right? And we're like, well, I have to redefine what the time span is on what I can manifest. Because manifestation has gone through the roof in 2020 in all directions, right? Because we don't always manifest our highest and best, sadly, right? But manifestation has rapidly speeded up. Acceleration is a massive theme of ascension, right? And for other people, they're being asked to dissolve their limits and sit with whole new things like, can I really control the weather, right? Can I really influence that flock of birds? Like, there's all sorts of fun possibilities and redefining of what is and isn't possible on the energetic plane. Good morning, lots of people jumping on. Say hello. Let me know that you're here. Like, let me know who's here, because I will engage with you all. So say hello. Okay, so light workers are being asked to work at whole new levels, right? They're being asked to work with new levels of energetic fuel that is available, right? Now, the fuel sources, a huge amount of them, have always been available, but have not been taught to light workers how to access extra levels, right? I'm trained in so many modalities over decades, right? So I've been through a lot of trainings. I've seen a lot of people come through trainings. And the way that the energy work is often being taught these days is out of some of its context, right? What happened was you guys probably know this, right? But we took energetic practice and energetic understanding out of its roots, out of its historical ancient roots, and we pulled it out so that it could be received in the world of religion and science, right? Like that it wouldn't be persecuted, i.e., magic was often persecuted, right? So it was pulled out of all of those frameworks and delivered in a pure technical scientific way, the techniques like Reiki and tapping, and there's so many, right? All of them get pulled out of some of their larger holistic original ancient frameworks, right? And that was an important step because it had to be reintroduced into the collective in a way it could be received without being persecuted. So totally valid. But by doing that, we pulled out a huge amount, like we extracted it from some of our power pieces, right? We're being asked to reintegrate them now. And one of them is the levels of energetic fuel that you have to funnel into these modalities, right? So often these modalities just start, right? And you just use what's around you in the room, what's in your client's field, what's in your field, which I'm not a big fan of, right? Because that's a great way to get overloaded and drained. But it's just like, use what's around you. That's a fraction of the energetic power available to you in any given moment, like literally 1%. I'm not joking when I say that, it's crazy. So you're being asked as light workers now, new levels of energetic fuel. And part of that has always been there, and part of it is tapping into all the new ascension energy on the planet proactively, not reacting to it and responding and going, God, I hope I can ride these waves. And I get that, right? They're big, but proactively working with the energy, okay? So you're also being asked as light workers or as energetic practitioners, and by that I mean coaches, healers, facilitators, anyone who is serving in highest service at some point, at some level in their work. And sometimes that doesn't always mean like professionally, right? Often it does, but not always, okay? These people are also being asked to step into new levels of maturity and sovereignty in their own energetic system with new understandings for new paradigm, right? Because the rules, the old groundwork rules, they're all shifting. They're all changing now, right? So you want to be aware of all of that too. And you do not, and it's no longer okay, right? It's going to get harder and harder and harder for light workers moving forwards to stay in highest service without their own sovereign energetic system. What do I mean by that? So many light workers, and I fell into this camp for many years myself, okay? So many energetic practitioners and light workers are also empaths, right? They go hand in hand. And if you are a spongy empath, right, you're highly sensitive, then you run the gauntlet of having to manage a lot of energy coming at you all the time, the bombardment of energy. And this year, with the collective waves of intensity that have been being pushed out, what happens is we get into energetic overload or overwhelm. And so the spongy empaths here today, I feel for you. I am also very sensitive empath who's had to work really hard over many years to try and refine this. But now it's a must, right? How can we be at service when we're drowning under collective energies, when we don't know how to hold our own system as sovereign? And by sovereign, I mean self-regulating, self-sustaining, self-healing, our system, right? So this is crucial, and this is what's being asked of us, right? And we're being asked to step into a whole new level, the next level of your ability to cast and command energy, to create powerful transformations, multi-dimensional transformations, including the 3D dimensional world of form, right? We are being asked to command energy. Right? Now that's a strong statement. Command our power, command energy, right? But we are being asked to do it at a completely different level. Okay? We're being asked to cultivate that at a much more powerful, focused level. Okay? If we are truly going to serve in the higher timelines, if we are going to anchor right now, then it's asking us for whole new levels of who we be, right? Who we be. And we really want to be working with energy, understanding energy, and feeling energy in our bodies tangibly at a whole new level. Okay? So I'm just going to quickly check in and say hi to everyone. Welcome. Yay, you made it. I'm so glad. It's awesome to see we have some of our experienced weavers here. It's cool. Say hello. Let me know if you have any questions today, because I am up for answering them as always. Okay, so we're really being asked to evolve, right? Now, the whole planet's being asked to evolve, and everyone is on a different place in their journey of ascension, right? And ascension's not actually like just started this year. Ascension's been going since the 70s, right? But we're in a massive acceleration, right? And I don't actually believe, and asked many times. I've channeled this information several times, and I've actually seen a lot of other channels say the same thing. It's not just going to suddenly end in 2020, right? But we are in the final acceleration, probably over the next several years, even up to a decade, but several years, right? That seems like a long time, but on the cosmic zoomed out scale, this is the final, this is the end piece, and everything is accelerating, right? So everyone's journeys are really going next level. Okay, now, as someone who's already an energetic practitioner, as someone who's already awake to those concepts, as someone who is already a light worker who is trying to anchor higher timelines or bring in light onto the planet or whatever your highest service is, right? You're also being asked a whole new level, all right? And sure, you could get to the point where, like, we can rewire your energetic system and get you nice and sovereign and stable and get into those consistent flow states, and you could just coast, right? You could just ride and coast, depending on where you are in your journey, how many bits of clearing you've already done, etc., etc. But I'm going to argue here that you're being asked so much more, right? And that doesn't mean, oh my God, I've got to step into leadership and do this professionally. Not necessarily, but you are being asked to step into your sovereign self, right? We're going to talk about what ascension's really asking, but light workers are being asked to really go there now, right? Because we're the way showers, right? We've got to get there first. And so drowning in energetic overwhelm and getting sucked under by the collective and distracted and wishy-washy, losing our ability to command energy, like with authority and with knowing, right? We're being asked to revise all of that, right? This is where our up levels are occurring. We're going to have some personal ones along the way, but they all filter into those themes, right? It all just happen. All of the themes that I'm going to talk about today will find a way to manifest in the classroom of your life, because that's what ascension's doing for us all, okay? So today we're going to go on a little tiny bit of contextual revision to understanding our energetic system in a new way, and we're definitely going to talk about how it's being affected by the ascension process, what are the themes and what's happening out of that. Okay, you're going to hear me talking. I will share some weaving stuff with you, the energy weaving, which is what I actually teach here in Shandara when I'm initiating weavers. But I'm also going to try and give you the ways to work with it if you're not a weaver, because not everyone here is a weaver. Lots of you are weavers here today, though, but not everyone. Hey, Karen. Hey, Rachel. It is awesome to have you here. Welcome to Shandara. Thrilled to have you. Okay, so we start at the energetic level. This should all be revision, right? But everything is energy. So we create energetic sovereignty within our energetic bodies, and that spills out into the orbiting expression of our reality, right? So presumably everyone here on replay and live understand that statement, and probably, I'm hoping, agree with that statement, right? What I'm curious though is how many of you actually have the knowing, the intuitive, like past just, I intuitively believe this to be true, that everything is energy, that you work at the energetic level, and that's foundational, and it spills into form from there, it spills into reality from there, okay? That's where a lot of people who work with energy are still sitting, right? How many of you, though, actually have a tangible, known, felt experience in your bodies, in your experiential world over and over and over again, to the point that you just know it to be true? Like, seriously know it at that level. And that is a different level of knowing, right? And it requires that level of embodied experiential, whoa, I feel this energy tangibly in my body. I can direct this energy. I can cast it. It is mine. I control it. I feel it. I know it. And when I work with it, I feel it happen, right? And I can command it with that level of knowing, right? Rather than faith, knowing, okay? Now, the weavers here on the course should all be saying, yep, I get that, right? Because that's one of the first primary things that's going to happen in weaving is you're going to know and feel energy known in your body. There's no way you can't not experience it. When you bring it out of your body and you're weaving it in the room, you're like, I totally feel this, right? In fact, sometimes if you have a big weave and you're just starting, so your system's still rewiring, you'll feel it so much that your whole body vibrates with it. Okay. Weavers on the call, you are so welcome to chime in with comments and experiences for everyone, but I'm going to keep going and I'll come back to the comments in a second. Okay, so at this point, you are actually being asked to get to this level of working with energy, right? To serving with this experiential knowing in your body, okay? And that truth is then, it has to be known at the biological level of cell, right? And at the experiential level of proof for the psyche and the mind, right? So once you know it in your body, right? And the body is a critical piece in ascension, okay? Ascension is not about we're going to leave our physical form behind, right? Not at the level of ascension we're going to, not at 5D. We're actually being asked to bring our higher self from higher realms into our physical bodies, into the world of form. And yes, the 5D world of form is experienced differently, but we're not going anywhere. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute too, right? But we're being asked to know energy in our bodies, on this plane, in the world of form, in a completely new way, right? Because we're being asked to interact with 3D form, 4D form, 5D form differently, right? Okay, so that's actually something that you want to do. So it's the energy is here, it's present everywhere, right? So if you're a weaver, right, that is the first outcome that happens when you're in the level 1 circle. That happens in like week 1 or 2, week 2, right? It's like, boom, oh my God, I felt that. I totally know that, right? And that starts to shift everything, right? If you're not a weaver, how are you going to do this? You're going to really walk your talk. Pull out your toolkit again with fresh eyes, whatever that is for you, and actually really be present in your body. So breathe into your body before you start your energetic work. And then you want to actually work your tools consistently and watch them manifesting, whatever they are, or healing or clearing, whatever it is that you're doing, into the world of form with awareness over and over and over again, because you need to build that biological felt experience in your body. You go, oh yeah, so when it feels like that, yeah, that's what it feels like, right? And the level of proof that our ego minds actually need to feel safe and certain and to claim something as a truth, right? And we're talking about truth tomorrow, so I won't go there right now. But all of that needs to happen. So you want to be devoted right now to being in your body and working your tools and watching with awareness what's happening, because you're going to see it at all new levels. Okay, all new levels. And some of you have tools that are years and years and years old. You trained in like Reiki. I trained in Reiki like 25 years ago, right? But if I go back to it now in dedicated practice, I will notice a massive acceleration in the felt experience and the outcomes. Okay, so it does require like some gaining of proof. And if you weave, that happens so fast because it happens in every weave and it's so huge, right? It's such a big experience. So maybe we'll talk really briefly about those 5 pillars, right? 5 pillars that we interact with energy on the 3D world of form, 3D, 4D, 5D, right? Now, there are 5 main ways, and as I say them, you're going to recognize them all. They're not like some mystical new thing. In fact, every energetic modality will use at least one of these, and often more than one of these, right? Shandara uses all 5 of these, which is probably one of the reasons why it's so rapid and so huge in the transformation, right? So how do we actually engage and manipulate and work and communicate and command energy where we are here in our bodies? Okay, the first one is breath. Okay. I heard someone say recently, breath lubricates the movement of energy in our body. It's a lubricator. It's a really fascinating way to look at it. I would agree with that. But breath is actually when we're breathing in. So we have a physiological process happening, which is powerful and valid. I'm a big fan of breath work, right? But we also have an energetic exchange happening. We're taking in life force energy and we're directing it around our body with the breath. Okay, so breath is one of our first tools for working with energy. Okay, and so if you haven't yet started to get into breath work in conjunction with your toolkit, I really encourage you to do so. Okay, the second one is movement, right? Physical movement. Now, energy weaving is a movement practice predominantly, right? Certainly at the level one, when you're up in the priestess levels, you can weave with a more still experience, but predominantly you're moving, right? To the outsider, like it looks like dance, right? It's not dance per se in that it's not performance and it is not choreography. It is not like some set of moves that you learn at all. Okay, you have to work with the energy present in the moment. But from the outside, it looks kind of like dancing. Now, Shandara is not the only modality to interact with energy through movement, right? There's Tai Chi and Qigong. Even people who go for a jog to clear their minds, to reset their emotional state, are using movement to interact and influence energy, right? So breath, movement, sound, right? Sound is actually powerful. Sound is operates in a realm really close to energy because it's waves and frequencies and resonances, right? And so it has the ability to shift energy very quickly, right? And so you can do that through, sound. Sound is like everywhere, right? But through chanting, through singing, through your voice, right? You can do it through musical instruments. You can do it through singing bowls and all those sorts of tools. That's another beautiful way. And you can actually do it by music, by listening to music, right? Listening to music can change your energetic state really quickly because your body is aligning its frequencies to the frequencies in the music, right? So in Shandara, you weave to music, right? You weave to music. You pick any music that you like, that you have an emotional connection to, and you weave to that because you're weaving off or blending in the frequencies of the sound. Okay, so that's a third pillar. The fourth pillar is our intention. Our intention is actually a really powerful way, and the stronger our intention is, the more powerful we are at commanding energy. Okay, so bring this to the table because sometimes people set intentions, but there's mental intention and then there's energetic intention, right? And you want to be cultivating a high level of powerful intention, non-wavering, focused attention. Okay, not hopeful intention or wishful thinking intention, but a different level. Those will work, but that's like a drip in the bucket, right? Why when you could be so much stronger in your intention? And honestly, magical practitioners like Wiccan believe that like what their first primary tool is the tool of choice, free will choice. And choice has to be very definitive. The more you can focus in with your choice and choose powerfully with strong intention, stronger your outcomes will be, right? And so when we weave, we're building a huge amount of energy, tons of energy. And then there comes a point when we go, well, what do we do with that energy? And you can do a lot with it, right? You can heal with it, you can manifest with it. You know, I can teach you all the frameworks. You can do tons of stuff. You can do virtually anything you can think of. You can also channel it straight into whatever is already in your energetic toolbox. Okay. But what you want to do here is get all that energy that you've just woven and built in the room and in your body, and you want to focus it and cast it with that powerful intention, right? So there's a big piece here about command, power, and leadership within intention. But intention is one of the tools that we use to work with energy on this plane. So we've got breath, sound, movement, intention, visualization. Okay? Visualization is a really powerful skill set. You've all done guided visualization work. Some of you probably created tons of visualization work, right? It's a really powerful way. When we visualize, we can go two ways, right? We're getting into a bit of intuitive work, but I'll sidetrack for a couple sentences here. When we visualize, we are doing either receiving, which is like channeling, and receiving in a sort of clairvoyant fashion, imagery, or we're projecting, right? And here's something that a lot of people get so tripped up on when they're learning how to be clairvoyant and how to do all that visualization work, is they go, I think I'm just making it up, I'm imagining it. Imagination is an intuitive language. It's one of the ways that we visualize and project our visualization, right? And yes, we are actually interacting and working with energy when we do that too. Okay, so there are 5 pillars, right? And we want to be working with all of them consciously, really consciously. So here's something you can do right now. Think about your energetic tool set. Think about which of those pillars are front and center. You probably all know, right? What is a weaver? Tina, I will get to that. Yes. Hi, Sue. It's good to see you, honey. Welcome back. Think about the tools that you've got. Tina, I'll get back to you. What is a weaver? I promise. Think about the energetic toolkit you've already got. Think about which of those pillars are being used and look at a way that you can add 1 or 2 of the extra pillars in. Okay, this is next level, right? Maybe you're a Reiki practitioner and you're going to actually up the level of conscious breath that you use, and you're going to have very specific sound frequencies playing when you give your Reiki, right? Like, use the full tool set. Now in Shindara, as an energy weaver, you use all 5 organically, naturally inside the weave, okay? But I'm encouraging you all to integrate as many as you can to really go next level on these practices and bring them into the new paradigms. Okay, where am I? See, I lost the spot in my notes because I just got sidetracked. Okay, your energy body. Let's jump to you. Okay, so your energy body or your light body is a complex structure of divine energy held in place by a 5D crystalline structure. We call this your divine genome, that overlays your biological DNA. It's overlaying it, right? And then there's an expanding energy outwards of your light body, radiating an energetic field outwards from this crystalline structure that many people call an aura. Okay, your energetic body is constantly, automatically projecting and receiving, like an antenna, energetic information, okay, in the forms of frequencies and resonances all the time, okay? And the receiving is how your energetic body is understanding what's going on, right? And we, so many of us here on the call are empaths. We're awesome at receiving energy. We're receiving everything that's going on the surface. We're receiving all this subcontext of information, right? We can also, if we don't know how to turn off the receiving at times, get really bombarded with the overflow of information, because by default your energetic system is set to open, to receiving. Okay, that's the default, and unless you turn it off, that is the way you're set up. You're set up to receive the signals on that level. Okay, now some people who have experiences of lots of trauma, they do shut it down. They close down their system, and then they kind of numb out, right? They feel disconnected from the world. So I'm not saying that like everyone is 100% open, right? What you want is control between open and closed. And you actually want to be able to be 50% open and not completely overloaded but still receiving, right? Or, whoa, this is kind of an intense environment I'm in. I'm going to tone down to 10 or 20% open, right? You want to know how to open and close your energy, okay? So that's the receiving side. We're also always projecting. We're projecting our baseline frequency, whatever that is, okay? Now, this is what actually is creating your perception of reality. This is what's actually creating what is manifesting and orbiting around you as your reality in 3D form. Is based on the frequencies and resonances you're projecting and your average, right? Now, as you refine your energetic system and it elevates, and some of you have already noticed this in 2020, reality is responding faster and faster. There's still a bit of a lag time, but that lag time is closing massively because we're rising into 5D. Okay, so what you could manifest, like how long it might take you to manifest X, like 3 or 4 years ago, is completely different to how long it will take now, which is harking back onto that, we need to redefine limitations, right? Because it's a whole new playground. It's a whole new playing field energetically at the moment, okay? So what you can manifest is your projection, right? Now, as you elevate your energetic understanding and your ability to work with energy, you can actually move in and out of those. You'll see that being reflected faster and faster. And some of you have already experienced that, right? You'll sort of tune in and go, where's my baseline resonance at? And often we notice it when we're not having a good day. When we've noticed our average is just, we're not quite where we normally are, and we're sort of a bit, whoop, right? And we'll notice now so quickly how everything in our day over the next hour or two, it just all kind of manifests into reality to reflect that dip in our baseline. We stub our toe, we spill our coffee, we drop something, we get caught in a traffic jam. Like it's just this little constant roll reflecting back to us the dip in our baseline resonance. And the same actually goes the other way. If we take a slight rise in our baseline frequency, same thing happens. Suddenly life's just flowing and everything's just working, right? Everything's so much smoother. Opportunities and synchronicities are coming like that, right? And that's just my normal experience now, right? Because I've been weaving for a lot of years. As a weaver, you're going to accelerate that massively because you're flashing huge amounts of energy, life force through your body and coming into constant flow states, which I can talk about later, okay? But the point is, all of you are probably already experiencing that. And if you are, let me know. I want to know in the comments, right? But I had like an example of that even just the other day. You know, I was literally walking across a car park and I was getting my groceries. I was coming back, I was carrying the groceries, and I was sort of contemplating the fact that we might need a new car, right? A car's okay, but it's too small and it's not really doing what we need it to do. Anyway, so I was like, oh, car. I know nothing about cars. I am not a car person. But as I was walking across the car park, I was going, okay, what's my like wish list for a car? And I was going, yeah, I need this. It would be good to have that. It would be good to have that. And literally, I look up, and right in front of me is the car that matches every single one of those criteria. And I was like, huh, that's what it is. So, and me not knowing anything about cars, I went over and I wrote down the make and model of the car and stuff. But that's just a tiny example, right? But how instant manifestation and how everything is responding to us so fast right now. Now that exponentially rises based on your belief in your ability to command power. So that's a little one. That's like car parks, always getting your car spot and just having the answer drop into your lap. Like I expect anything I ask to have the answer delivered to me within 24 hours. Right? That just is what happens. But based on your level of belief in your power and your ability to command, that acceleration of rapid manifestation is happening on every level, right? Including the big things, right? Weavers, on the whole, are making massive leaps this year everywhere. They're starting new businesses. They're having complete sea changes. They're buying and selling houses. Several weavers have bought new houses this year, right? They're having their best income years. They're leaping, right? Because the ability to manifest is rapid in either direction, right? And so if you're going down a spiral, that can also go wah, right? So that's really important to notice that what we're projecting and our baseline resonance, you actually all know this. You want your resonances to be rising. And 5D energy and the ascension energy ringing our planet is very high resonance, right? And I'm going to talk about how we can ground and work with that, because you really want to be taking that in. You want that supporting you, not like sending you into overload. You actually want to be able to work with it, right? But we want our resonances rising. We want our vibration rising, okay? Now, you can use those 5 pillars that I've already given you, any of them, to shift and alter your vibration and your frequency, right? And weavers, we do that all the time. So it is a given. I have never seen a weaver tell me this didn't work. And all the weavers here, I hope you can confirm this. It is a given that when you go into a weave, you can change your resonance, your frequency, your emotional state, complete 180 in about 10 minutes within the weave, right? So you can, no matter what happened in your day, you can come in a really like blah, yuck state, and you'll come out grounded, calm, spacious, like you'll be in a different elevated space. You're using all those tools and shifting your frequency. And then that allows the whole next carry forwards to be a completely different experience of reality. Okay? So, your energetic body, back to our energetic body, we're still talking about it. We talked about its structure. We talked about the fact that you have a genome, a divine genome, a crystalline level to your light body that is overlaying dimensionally on top of your biological DNA. Now, it is being activated by the ascension energies. It's being activated when you do energy work. It's being activated when you invoke something or call something in or work with an ascended master. Like, it's being activated a lot right now. Little lights going on in it. And when that happens and it gets the different parts of your genome are getting activated by the light of the energy, it's creating bridges into your carbon-based DNA. So from the crystal-based to the carbon-based DNA, bridges of light between the two, activating at the carbon level. And this is what is creating the ascension in our physical bodies. Right? This is what is anchoring it in. And so we can bring these higher resonances in our higher selves properly, fully into our body as our default state of being. Not, oh, I'm going to go call in my higher self, but oh, I'm always operating from higher self. Right? Okay, so your energetic body also can be thought of like any bodily system, your respiratory system, your circulatory system, your energetic system has the same sort of complexity. You have an autonomic aspect of your energy system. Right? There's an autonomic system that occurs inside your energetic body, which we call, or which I call, weavers call, your pleasure pulse. Right? Now it is always pulsing. It's always responding from higher self knowing, yes, no, yes, no. And if you know how to feel a yes and a no in your body, and I'm going to teach you tomorrow, right, then that is always available. It's always going, whether you're consciously tuning into it or not, that is always happening. You're always projecting and receiving autonomically too, okay? And like the circulatory system or the respiratory system, your energetic body is also breathing. It is expanding and contracting. Okay, like your breath, it cycles between the two. Okay, now in our modern society, we tend to try to hang out always in expansion, right? And we fight going into contraction. So, I don't want to be in contraction. I want to stay in. How fast can I get out of contraction and get back into expansion? And there's a whole heap of past workshops I've done on this, so I'm not going to deep dive in that now. But you want to understand that you are always cycling. Expanding, contracting. Your energetic system is breathing naturally. And after every expansion will come a contraction. Now, if you work with that system, your contractions can be just as pleasurable as your expansions. And you can stay in flow in both expansion and contraction states if you're not fighting your energetic system, if you're working with the flow of the energy in your body. Okay. Now, as you start to work with the expansion and contraction cycles, you stabilize that roller coaster. Right? You don't have big roller coasters anymore. You start to become much more consistent. Your energetic system, it has a frequency that's much more consistent as well, right? Which allows your baseline to progressively rise as you're going. Okay. And you can map your expansion and contraction cycles. If anyone is super keen, let me know, and I will tag you in the workshops that are already here in this group on all of that. And you can like play with working with your expansion and contraction system. I did that series at the beginning of the year, and lots of people like loved it. I got so much feedback on that, and I've left them in the group. So if you want them, let me know, and I will tag you in them. Okay, so all of this is actually really important understanding, and all of this is stuff that you learn really quickly to just master inside becoming an energy weaver, right? It's just these are all the pieces that you just relate to and are with your energetic system a whole new level. Okay. All right, I'm going to quickly take comments before we move into the ascension stuff. Hey, Lenny, I'm so glad that you made it here. Lou, currently have a rental and we've given 90 days notice to the tenant, but we actually need them gone sooner. We needed time to do the work. Yep. Fits in with manifested. Cool. Currently in massive contraction as well and manifesting. Yeah. So I want to bring this out because it is 100% possible to manifest in a contracted state if you are working consciously with your contraction, if you are working with the flow of energy in your body, with life flow, if you are still in a state of flow, you can manifest in contraction. And Lou's sort of pointing this out. Woo-hoo. Lisa's saying it's definitely my experience. I can go into weaving so tired and leave with energy topped up. Yeah, it can be really energizing. Actually, it's really interesting. Some weavers have said it's totally cured their insomnia. They weave before bed every night and it's just, they don't even have a sleep issue anymore. And some say, wow, it energizes me so high that I just get such a strong creative channel come in. A couple of the painters who are weavers are like, I have to have 3 or 4 hours after a week because I'm just on creation mode. I'm just painting. I'm in the studio. So it can go either way. It's really interesting to watch how that affects people differently. Okay, awesome. So one thing that you really want to know, and I've mentioned it briefly, but this is where everyone wants to be, primary position to work with energy at the moment in our world of form, if you want to interact with it at this level, is not from your heads, which is where so many of us are trying to do it, right? It's from an embodied space. So you want to get into your body. And a lot of light workers are all up in their upper chakras. In fact, not even in their bodies, kind of like up above their bodies, okay? Some of them are also projected right out in front of their bodies. If you're always focused on the next thing in the future, you can actually lift yourself right out of your body, okay? And if you have trauma in your background, then often you leave your body as well, right? So if you're all just trying to work with the energy outside of your bodies in your upper chakras, that is a struggle. And also, it's not your embodied seat of your power. Like, it's not. It's the place to get overloaded. It's the place to get overwhelmed. It's the place to get whooshed around because you're not anchored, right? So I'm going to really invite everyone, get into your bodies. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Use the 5 pillars. Breathe, move, right? Ground. Actually, when you do your breath work and you're like calling in higher self, don't just call your higher self into your third eye or your heart, right? Because that's where you'll get to easily currently, right? Oh, there's my higher self. You're all in your upper chakras. Come right down. Bring your higher self down into your womb space, into your pelvis. Bring your higher self down into your feet. Can you walk on the earth as divine? Footsteps on the earth, right? That's the priestess path. But that is what you want to be doing. We want this embodied experience of our highest selves, not just when we're in meditation, not just when we're being all zen in our spiritual bubble and having those amazing experiences, which are 5D experiences, right? But then we have to go out into 3D form, and there's this big contrast between what happens outside of our awesome lives and what happens in the rest of our lives. That all needs to spill out and become consistent. We need to build up that energetic resiliency for that 5D experience that we're having inside our beautiful spiritual bubble to be constant everywhere, right? You want to be living it, not just in, out, in, out, in, out, but all the time. So, ascension is asking us to do this. It's asking us to become embodied in our higher selves, right? The ascension energy on the planet at the moment is swirling, ringing the planet. It's high. It's coming in waves. Some of you are familiar with the Schumann resonance, right? And they're actually mapping all the blasts of energy that are coming forward. It's pretty fascinating. And what are we doing? Well, we're moving individually and collectively, and the planet itself is moving dimensionally, right? There's the 3D world or dimension of reality or perception, where everything is quite dualistic. Yes, no, right, wrong, very polarized. We're sitting in this field or this field, right? And everything is very logical and proof driven, right? In fact, probably seeing a lot of the themes of that playing out collectively at the moment as people are like going, whoa, where are we with 2020, right? But that's down in our 3D experience. Our 4D experience is a little higher. Like we start to understand, oh, wait, there's perception so far past just the base physical, right? And most of you are all at 4D. You probably slip into 3Ds on those bad days where you can't quite hold your baseline frequency and everything becomes more black and white and you get on the muggle go round, as we call it, but you get down into this like matrixy type experience and you're like, whoa, this doesn't feel so good down here, right? And then you come back into 4D and you go, wait a minute, there's so much more potential up here, there's so more possibility, you can view reality differently. I get that everything's more fluid, right? And then there's those 5D experiences, and the 5D plane has this unity, has this higher self inside you, like this merging with oneness, whole new level of consciousness, the way you see the world, the way the world responds to you, the rapid manifestations that are happening, right? There's a lot to be said. And you've probably all had 5D experiences. You've all had that guided meditation or that breathwork process or something where you've gone, whoa, and all of this stuff happened and I channeled all this crazy information and there was like all this imagery that came and I felt like I was like whirling in the cosmos and life was just amazing and even the trees looked different. The way I experienced the ocean was completely different, right? Like those sorts of experiences was 5D, right? So we have 3D, 4D, and 5D all operating at the same time on the planet. And we're moving in and out between them, right? We're slowly moving towards a more consistent state of 5D, but we're actually moving at different levels. And we can be interacting. We can be having a 5D experience of reality, and the person sitting beside us looking at the exact same thing in front of us can be having a 3D experience of it, right? And so they're seeing something virtually completely differently to the way we're experiencing it, right? I mean, we're seeing the same objects, but they're completely different. And that's our perception because we're sitting at the resonances or the frequencies of 5D, right? And that is actually creating potential. You can bridge this, right? But for most people, that can be creating schisms in relationships, right, that have been long held. Because suddenly, if you're perceiving reality at 5D and they're perceiving reality at 3D, it's going to be all this mismatch going on in communications, in experiences, in preferences, everything, right? It's because we're all moving across different dimensions all at the same time. I'm just going to check. Is this landing? I'm not saying anything that's like Wow, she's lost me. If I have, just let me know. Is this resonating? Does this make sense what I'm saying? Okay, so we have the ability to experience any of those all at the same time. This is multidimensional, right? And so what we're being asked to do is embody that higher self right now. Okay. The other thing that's happening with ascension is it's a process, but it is accelerating. Okay. It's been coming in actually pretty steadily since the 70s, right? And lots of us were born into the 70s with this understanding that we are here as way showers, with this new level of, wow, we didn't come in totally not switched on, right? We were already activated to several of our gifts. Okay. And that's just accelerating. In fact, ascension makes so much sense. I relate. Yes, got you. Awesome. Woohoo. Okay, so this all is accelerating right now. The shift has been happening, but we've been moving towards this next golden age cycle, and there hasn't been one for thousands of years on the planet, but it's coming. We're on the cusp. But as I said before, the cosmic cusp is still, we've got some years. We've got a few years here, right? Because we actually have to make a huge jump. You've already seen what happened in 2020 when we started our acceleration, right? Imagine if, heaven forbid, that we were trying to make the jump from there to there, like not in years, but like just in the next couple months, right? Chaos and nuttiness would ensue because everyone's doing the journey at a different level, okay? But it's accelerating. So you get to choose how you want to do it. But the theme of 2020 is all about acceleration. How rapid has this year gone? Did you know it's 85 days till the end of the year now? Wow, this whole year just went whoosh. And it's really interesting to see how our understanding or the fluidity of time has really shifted, right? Yeah, there's been massive fast bits where we're like, oh my God, I can't believe how fast this year is going. And there have been times when we've been in quarantine or lockdown or whatever, where it's like, oh, it's going so slow, right? There's just this really interesting fluidity of time happening all around. But currently, we are mostly in acceleration. The collective is accelerating, and with that is all sorts of stuff rising to heal and clear. And for the empaths on our call, you all know what I mean, because a lot of what you're processing, probably about half of what you're processing, isn't even yours, right? We're going to talk about that this series because you have a soul contract. On some level, you agree to support collectively processing some of these ancestral wounds, some of these collective wounds, all these things that are rising, but not at the expense of your own journey, right? And because we're a bit spongy and we've lost some of that skill set in having authority and sovereignty over our systems, we can actually risk being completely overwhelmed, right? So the earth body, Mother Earth, Gaia, she's also accelerating, okay? And this is again being reflected in the Schumann resonance, right? She's accelerating her frequencies, okay? Now, this is actually a good thing. Like she's on target. She's getting lots of support. Some of you are actively supporting and feeding the grids. The light workers, the energy weavers in alumni, we did a weave this year, a higher service weave. And actually several of the weavers on the call did this, right? Where they charged the earth through the earth chakras. So they built a lot of energy inside a weave and they cast it straight into the earth chakras to charge the grid, right? So a lot of people are working to support the Mother Earth. But it's really interesting because when I wrote that weaving ritual for everyone and I did it, I had an interesting experience with Mother Earth who came straight back at me and she said, thanks, I accept this gift. Do you know what? I'm okay, right? And she's just doing her thing. She is doing the ascension process. She's ascending. She's doing it. She's ascending on timetable. It's actually the collective, us on her, that are all over the place, like struggling. Not her per se, right? So what does this mean? It means that right now you want to be grounding to her, anchoring to her. All of you have grounding techniques because you want to align to her resonances. to support your stability. Because when you align to her resonances, she's actually pulling you with her. Come along, come along. And when you align and ground to her, and you've got a very solid connection with her running on a daily basis, you will not be prey to ascension symptoms and massive roller coaster waves, because she's stabilizing that. She's stabilizing your frequency by kind of attaching you into her grid. Okay, let me know if this is landing. I want to make sure I'm not losing people here, but you want to ground every single day. Now, when you can do that many ways, you can just get your bare feet on the earth, you can lie on the soil, you can get into bodies of water. Okay, you can also use your intention and your visualization to take a cord or roots down deep into the core of the earth and actually anchor to her. You can breathe her energy up into your body. This is the first step of invoking energy into your body. And when we weave, as a weaver, we integrate several levels. We bring in fuel sources in our body as our fuel sources to activate the weave, which we then raise and build in capacity. But we bring in these energies. And we work a lot to start with the earth energies, particularly this year in 2020. We also bring in celestial energy, right? But if we start with earth energy, we're very grounded, we're stable, the roller coaster stops, right? So you want to actually be doing that. So grounding is a really big one. Sorry, checking comments. Good, everyone's on it. Okay. So Mother Earth, also ascending, also shifting. Okay. Now with that acceleration, if you're proactively working with it, if you're tapped into her grid, if you're working really consciously in your body with the energy, not up in your higher chakras, in your body, if you're breathing, if you're doing emotional alchemy, which I'll get to it in this series. I might get to it today, but maybe not, because we're going a little over. But I will get to it this series, right? If you're using those tools and you're working proactively with ascension energy and you're coming into a flow state, you're not fighting your energetic system, and you're working with the direction of universal energy and ascension energy as it moves through your body, you will activate new gifts. Okay. In fact, I was talking to a client yesterday, a weaver yesterday, and she said, she's been weaving all year, right? She said to me, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot to tell you that, like, earlier this year, she has a tattoo on her wrist. It's an I am statement, and it's a significant statement, right? Because it's a moment of her power. I am, right? It's one of those statements where we remember that we are walking divine beings, right? I'm not going to go into all of that right now, but she has this tattoo on her wrist, right? And since she's been doing more and more weaving, since she's gone further down her path, this new gift is activated where her tattoo actually physically heats up at different moments, either when she's in her power or also when she's not, when she needs to be reminded of where she's dipping, where her baseline's gone whoop, and she's out of alignment. And she said to me, at first I thought it was just me, but I actually got other people to touch it, and they said, whoa, it's totally on fire, right? And so we've been working, I've got her working with sigils now, and I'm not going to go into all that, but I want to see what happens if she activates other symbols on her body besides her tattoo, if that's actually coming through right into the 3D now. But the activation of new gifts, people's channels are opening up. The light language channels have gone insane on the planet, right? People are channeling differently. People's healing abilities are accelerating, right? There's so much potential if you're proactively actually working with ascension. Not just trying to ride the waves, not just trying to get through, but you're actively taking responsibility to up level right now, okay? So you want to be in flow states. You want to be surrendering to higher guidance. That's another theme of ascension, right? And many of you are already wanting to follow higher guidance. You've probably already been doing it for a long time in your life, right? Well, right now, if you've made a strong commitment that says, I will follow my higher self, I will follow my higher guidance. If you've ever set that vow, if you've had that oath, that this is the way I roll, right? Then you are being held to that right now, big time. And if you're receiving guidance right now, little intuitive nudges, and you're not acting on them. And that's that pleasure pulse, those yeses and nos, those downloads like, should I go this way or that way? Should I do this? Should I eat this? Right? And if you're getting nudges and you're not following them, then when you're stalling out, you're putting yourself into resistance, then you're going to have rapid acceleration of chaos, of breaks everywhere, right? And I see this all the time, right? One of our weavers was telling me a few months ago that this had been her situation, right? And as soon as she shifted, like the day that she realized what was going on and she shifted on it all, suddenly a new job came through, and a new house came through that day, and there was a third thing. She manifested all of this literally in the day that she took action on her higher self guidance that had been nudging her for weeks, and she was just stalled. Everything was a no, 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 no in every area of her life, right? Another one of our priestesses, the same thing. She was umming and ahhing on big decisions, right? Like not small decisions. She was selling a house in London, and she was moving across the country, and she was quitting her job, like her career, like whole massive sea changes, right? And so there was, even though her higher self had guided her so clearly in that, every time we were checking in on her congruency with her energy, like she was clear, like, yep, this is the path. Yep, this is the path. There was no doubt. But on the ego self and in the 3D world, she's struggling a little bit back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? And it was taking months of really bizarre roundabout stuff happening and all sorts of frustrations, and she didn't know what was happening next and all the rest. When she finally, on her last day of work, it was really fascinating, her last day at her job, she just go ahead. She had to keep taking leaps of faith. But the final one was her last day at work. She'd already moved across the country. She was in her new beautiful house by the ocean. She hadn't sold the old house in London yet, which was giving her a bit of stress, right? She was leaving her job. She didn't know what was coming next, but she wanted to have a bit of a sabbatical. So there was a lot of leaps of faith there. But her higher guidance was giving her this, yep, got to do it, yep, got to do it. And she stalled out for a while, but on that last day, it's fascinating. She messaged me and she said, because I was saying happy first day of sabbatical, she said, oh my God, the house sold this morning. And then she said, and then at 9:20 a.m., I got an email from one of my favorite old clients asking if I wanted to do a new project with them in January. Perfect aligned project. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? So if you are one of those people who has said, my higher guidance is my authority, like I follow my guidance, and you're not this year, you're kind of stalled out, you're like, got the brakes on, you will be noticing it because everything will be bloody hard, and you will actually be slowing down the rapid manifestations. And when you stop doing it and you take the aligned action that you already know you're meant to be doing, you'll watch the flow. You'll watch it all speed up. Okay, so you want to be riding with the energy currents. Okay, you want to be surrendering into the flow states, which requires some faith. Okay, so along with all of this, I'm going to finish up in about 10 minutes. Okay, I'm sorry we've gone over. I feel like I've given so much. I've got to stop having notes and channeling information at the same time because I just give you a really big workshop that way. Okay, the other thing that's happening in Ascension is timelines are collapsing. Right? So, historically, we've thought about past lives as this linear process, right? In a quantum universe, they're actually all happening concurrently, in parallel, right? And I don't want to get too far into quantum physics and get off topic, but at the moment with Ascension, a lot of the timelines are collapsing into this one, because this is the one that we're going to ascend through, right? This timeline, this lifetime. It might be next lifetime, but probably this lifetime. Okay, everyone is a little different on what their time frame is. But this is the one where all the work is happening. Collapsing timelines, what does that mean? The potential here is both ways. Collecting up all our old gifts from our past lives, right? All of you have had past lives in some form of magical, energetic work, right? For sure. You wouldn't be here otherwise in my group. Okay, and you may have left behind for some sort of traumatic reasons. Maybe your life didn't end well. Lots of us here will have witch wound, meaning we were persecuted somehow for our beliefs. Some of us died for our beliefs. I died several times for my beliefs, right? So we've all got that. This is about reintegrating all our gifts from past lives coming forwards, all into this timeline, right? Boom. And so is our healing. We can heal now in this lifetime with a lot more ease than you think, by the way, because of the acceleration that's occurring. And at the same time, we heal our lineage and our timelines. So both our soul lineage, our ancestral lineage, and our own soul's timeline, all in this lifetime. The potential is huge. Like, that's a bomb that I just dropped right there, right? And the other thing that's changing in the paradigm right now is that you can be in a, focused on your evolution and expansion, focused on everything we've been talking about here, right? And healing at the same time. It's not an either or journey. Okay, it actually never was, but right now, especially if you're focused on a journey of expansion, of up leveling, of new activation, what needs to rise for that to occur will naturally heal. Without you focusing on the healing, it will come to the surface to heal and to be worked on. Now, that can be a bit of a bumpy journey if you're not aware of it, if you don't know what's happening. But if you do and you're using your energetic tools, you can clear it very fast, right? And weavers know that because when you're weaving, you're flushing all that energy, you're moving a lot of energy through your body, and patterns clear very quickly. Past life patterns, present life patterns, a couple of weeks in, and people always say to me, it's really just not a thing for me anymore. I just don't really experience that, right? So all of that is happening. And the potential is there for all of us to do all of that work this lifetime. What a powerful lifetime. What a crazy, amazing time to be on the planet, to be within this ascension energy. Okay, I'm just looking at what I had here in my notes. I am actually going to pause. I'm going to take some comments, but I'm going to mention to you that one of the most important things, I'm not even going to go into the concept of joyful healing, but joyful healing is a legitimate thing right now with so much more ease than you think. I actually want everyone to be really open to it. And if the joyful healing is like intriguing to you, leave a comment and I will actually spend some time. I'll do like an extra little live somewhere and talk about it more. But what I want to talk to you now about what is being required, the very first thing is the stuff we talked about at the beginning, like elevating our fuel sources, the quantities that we're working with, elevating our belief in our power, understanding of our power, our known experience of our power. Right? Our ability to interact and command energy very differently, okay? And our ability to be sovereign in our energetic system, right? Super important. And if you are having trouble being collectively overwhelmed by the energies, if you're sort of roller coastering, there was a lot in here today, but probably one of the first things you want to know how to do is clear your field, reset it back, actually understand what's yours and what isn't yours. Right, and get back to your state. If that is you, that is something that you want, then please tag me here in the video and let me know that you want that, and I will tag you in the workshop where it's a guided process. I actually take you through clearing it all. Now, once you've done it with me once, you'll know how to do it. You can adapt it, you can own it and do what you want with it, but you will have cleared in that session and you'll know how to do it all the time moving forwards. Okay, so it's a good primer and I would highly recommend it, and I will give it to you all, anyone who wants it. Okay, so I am going to take just 2 minutes now and I'm going to mention, because Tina asked me expressly about energy weaving. So a Shindara energy weaver is what I initiate. It is a modality that I teach here, and it is about working as that next level light worker, right? It is a completely different experience of the way that you work with energy and what is possible, because it's completely different. Like our understanding of energy, I've gone through it all today, right? Weaving actually is a whole next level. And at the moment, we've got a week to go, but I am doing the final intake for the final 2020 initiation circle, where you become initiated as an energy weaver. I will teach you how to weave. I will teach you how to stay in consistent flow states. I will teach you how to clear and reset and elevate your entire resonance in 10 minutes, right? I will teach you how to build vast amounts of energy and command your power at a level I guarantee you have never experienced, right? I promise you. Ask any of the weavers on here. Go and have a look in the units section of the Voices of Weavers, because there's lots of stories there. Don't just take my word for it. That is all going to happen. I'm going to teach you how to take that massive amount of energy, right, which is invoked and layered from earth, from the divine, from the celestial, from higher self, from different qualities, from different ascended masters. We invoke all sorts of fuel sources, right? And we build it to massive levels. And then I teach you how to cast it with authority. Now you can use it in your own tool set. You can channel it right into what you're already trained in. Or I'm going to teach you a whole heap of weaving rituals and frames, and I'll teach you healing, and I'll teach you manifesting with weaving. All of that happens in this level 1 circle, okay? And it's a different experience to here. Here I'm teaching you general energetics, right? The understanding of the energetics piece, so that you can take that away and work with something of value right now, right? With the tool sets that you already have. But this is different inside the circle. It's a whole elevated high-end experience. It's a small circle. It is highly interactive. We're seeing each other all the time. We're engaging. And I'm teaching you and initiating you. At the end, you have an initiation, a graduation. You become a certified energy weaver, right? And all of this will be your new norm. All of this stuff that I spoke about, the weavers on here are not, okay, they probably got some new stuff about some of the newer ascension work right now, but they know most of this because they've all done it. They've all experienced it, and they can do it on a daily basis, anytime, anywhere. Okay? So if as I was talking and I dropped in some of the weaving pieces and you were like, whoa, that looks like you'll feel in your body, by the way, if it's a pull forwards, right? Higher self is pretty clear in 2020 when she's giving her guidance to you, right? If you're like, whoa, there's a leap in you, a cute like whoop of some form, and you feel drawn to it, then please reach out to me. In fact, just let me know right here on this replay. That's probably the easiest way. Yes, I'd like the details, please, for the circle, right? Because Sue says she wants the clearing. Lenny, I'm going to assume when you said yes, please, you want the clearing. Okay. If you want to know about the details, all the bits and pieces for the circle, which starts in a week, because you want to become an initiated energy weaver, because you want to work at this whole different level, then let me know. Put a comment here, and then I can PM you. Okay, and we'll take it off. Level 1 was absolutely awesome. Thanks, Lisa. Lisa's about to start the priestess path with me, which is another whole level again. I'm pretty excited. We start tomorrow, don't we, Lisa? Woo. Okay, that is actually it for today. I have what I call open office hours, which will be happening next week for my active community. That means that if by active you are engaging, if you're here at the end of this and you're on the replay, and you, Lenny, honey, I actually PM'd you the details, my sweet. Do it, you'll never be the same. Yeah, you won't. You actually won't. Once you're a weaver, you will never be able to not be a weaver. Like, it's just not possible. The way that you work with energy will just never be the same again. But, Lenny, you have the information. Everyone can PM me. Right, active. That's what I was talking about. Oh, sorry, you guys are all commenting. I'm like, whoa. Open office hours. If you're active, that means just share with me what your biggest takeaway from today was. Let me know that you were here. Let me know what you took out of it. Let me know if there's anything you want to hear more on too, right? Because that was a lot in there. I will send you the link to my private office hours. And you can drop in. You don't have to, but you can drop in when they're on. And you can, I'll be there to do laser coaching. I'll have the Akashic Records open, and I'll just coach anyone who shows up. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for everyone. The timing's because you're in the UK. I get that. It's actually the best timing in the year, this circle. I mean, it's the best. I think it's the best. I'm super excited about the energies coming out of 2020. So, in terms of the year, I think it's really good. But the timing's actually the best too for all the different time zones. It's international. There are already people from all over the world in this coming circle. It's not big, by the way. These are really intimate trainings, right? But I already have women in Canada and the US and the UK and New Zealand, and like there's people already everywhere. But I'll give you the details, Laura. And you're about to, the UK is about to, in 2 weeks or something, move into their daylight savings as well. That gets even better on the timing for you as well. So I will get you those details. Okay, I think that's it. I'm sorry. If you hung out this whole time, this is longer than normal. I'm deeply honored that you stayed all this time. And tomorrow, I'm going to keep it shorter. Tomorrow, we're diving into understanding, knowing, discerning truth. Truth is a huge theme that got tipped on its head in 2020, and working with our truth energetically. So, I'm going to dive deep into knowing the yes and no in your body, understanding your energetic nature, your divine truth, how you follow it, how you're guided by it, how it affects your reality. All of that is coming up tomorrow. Love the information on 3D, 4D, 5D connections and how we are currently moving between and how that looks. But yeah, super helpful to know, right? Because we're all like, oh, we're going through ascension. What exactly does that mean? Okay, everyone, much love. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow and then again the following day for the Akashic Soul Review, which is going to be epic. Super excited, and I will talk to you all then. Mwah.